Survival games in 2025 are on another level. Bigger worlds, smarter AI, and challenges that'll push you to the limit. From fighting dinosaurs to surviving nuclear bunkers, these are the most unbelievable survival games coming soon. Let's dive in. Imagine waking up on an alien planet that keeps changing and realizing, well, this is going to be a problem. StarRupture is a sci-fi survival game where the world itself is your biggest threat. The planet is unstable, constantly reshaping itself with massive cataclysms that can wipe out everything in seconds. Your job? Build a base, gather resources, set up production lines, and try not to die, all while dealing with aggressive alien creatures that really don't want you there. Unlike most survival games that focus on zombies or harsh weather, StarRupture throws high-tech industry, automation, and unpredictable destruction into the mix. You're not just worrying about food and water, you're designing entire industrial systems, defending your base, and hoping the next planetary disaster doesn't turn your hard work into rubble. If they get the balance right, this could be one of the most unique survival games out there. Just imagine setting up the perfect automated factory, only to watch a massive event wipe it off the map. Frustrating? Maybe. Exciting? Absolutely. If it all comes together, StarRupture might just be one of the best survival games of the year. You're not the chosen one. You're just some guy trying not to die. Outward 2 is the sequel to the cult classic RPG survival game, set 50 years after the original. Once again, you play as an ordinary person trying to survive in a harsh fantasy world. No special powers, no plot armor, just you, your backpack, and whatever scraps of armor you can afford. Unlike most RPGs that make you feel overpowered, Outward 2 keeps it brutally real. You need to eat, sleep, and carefully prepare for every journey, or you won't last long. The world doesn't revolve around you. It moves forward whether you're ready or not, making every decision matter. The first Outward was challenging but rewarding, forcing players to think ahead and adapt. If you enjoy games that punish recklessness and reward careful planning, this is for you. Just hoping they improve the combat a bit this time because, let's be real, Outward 1 was a bit stiff in that department. Medieval survival, but without the fantasy fluff. Just cold steel and raw survival instincts. Think Rust, but medieval. You start with nothing, gather resources, build a base, and fight for control. Whether you rise to power through alliances, strategy, or brute force is up to you. Unlike most medieval games that focus purely on combat or building, Renown blends both with skill-based melee combat, territorial control, and deep survival mechanics. You'll need to craft weapons, fortify your land, and defend it from enemy players who'd love nothing more than to tear it all down. This game is shaping up to be the ultimate competitive medieval survival experience. The idea of starting from nothing and carving out your place in a ruthless world sounds incredible. My only concern? It's an online survival game, so expect raids, betrayals, and the occasional troll wiping out your base overnight. Be ready to fight for what's yours. Okay, we've all thought about this. What if you were stranded in Jurassic Park with nothing but your smartness? Well, now we get to find out. Jurassic Park Survival is a single-player action-adventure game that puts you in the shoes of Dr. Maya Joshi, a scientist trapped on Isla Nublar after the park's collapse. Your goal? Survive long enough to escape while avoiding velociraptors, T-Rexes, and other prehistoric nightmares. This isn't an action game where you mow down dinosaurs. It's about stealth, survival, and outsmarting some of the most dangerous creatures ever to exist. You'll scavenge, hide, and use your environment to stay alive in a world where you are not the apex predator. Honestly, this is the Jurassic Park game I've always wanted. Survival horror meets dinosaurs? Yes, please. If they get the AI right and make the dinosaurs feel truly unpredictable, this could be one of the most immersive survival experiences in years. A beautiful, yet deadly frozen wasteland where every decision could mean life or death. Polyaris is a first-person survival game set in a post-nuclear Arctic world. The extreme cold is just as dangerous as the predators lurking around. You'll need to manage warmth, find shelter, and scavenge supplies while skiing across a vast, ever-changing landscape. Unlike most survival games, Polyaris features ski-based traversal, letting you navigate its icy wastelands in a unique way. You'll have to adapt to shifting weather, craft tools, and even fish for food to stay alive. If they nail the atmosphere and survival mechanics, this could be one of the most immersive Arctic survival games in years. But I hope they add enough variety, otherwise it might feel like The Long Dark with a fresh coat of paint. Post-apocalyptic survival, but with a next-gen twist. Nature has reclaimed the cities, and you have to fight to stay alive. Rooted throws you into a world where humanity is barely hanging on after a global bacteriological war. Cities are overgrown. Scavenging is your lifeline, and every step into the unknown could be your last. You'll need to craft tools, build bases, and explore dangerous ruins to survive. The level of realism here is wild. The devs are using Unreal Engine 5 to create ultra-detailed environments, and the world feels alive. Rusted cars, collapsing buildings, and dense vegetation make for one of the most immersive survival settings in years. I love survival games that make the the world itself the biggest enemy instead of just throwing in zombies. If the AI factions, crafting, and exploration deliver, Rooted could be one of the most unique survival experiences out there. A survival horror game set in post-nuclear Britain with an eerie atmosphere that makes every step feel unsafe. Inspired by real Cold War events, Atomfall is an open-world survival horror game set in rural Britain after a nuclear disaster. But it's not just radiation you have to worry about. Rogue military factions, cultists, and strange mutated creatures roam the land, making survival even more dangerous. The mix of survival mechanics and horror storytelling makes this one stand out. Instead of just scavenging for food and water, you're piecing together the mystery of what really happened, with every abandoned house or document adding to the larger story. If you love games like Stalker or Metro, this is one to watch. The atmosphere looks incredible, and with non-linear exploration, it could offer a deep, immersive survival horror experience. If done right, Atomfall could be one of the most unique post-apocalyptic survival games in years. A cozy-looking survival game that isn't all harsh and punishing. This one's about building a future. Solarpunk is a bright, futuristic survival game where you build and thrive on floating islands instead of just struggling to survive. Using renewable energy like solar, wind, and water, you'll craft, farm, and automate your way to a sustainable paradise. Most survival games focus on scarcity and danger, but Solarpunk challenges you to be creative with energy and resource management. With a mix of survival, automation, and exploration, it's got a chill but strategic vibe that sets it apart. The art style is gorgeous, and the idea of floating islands as your home base is super refreshing. It might not be for hardcore survival fans, but if you love creative, relaxing experiences, this could be a hidden gem. A zombie survival game where surviving is the real challenge, not just running and gunning. Unlike most zombie games that focus on non-stop action, Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days is about outlasting the apocalypse. You control a group of survivors in Texas, scavenging supplies, fortifying shelters, and making tough moral decisions to keep your people alive. It's more strategy than action. Every bullet, every resource, every decision matters. The game plays like a mix of This War of Mine and State of Decay, where shelter survival and resource management are just as important as avoiding the undead. This is the slow, tense, and strategic zombie survival game I've been waiting for. If they nail the atmosphere and AI, it could be one of the best survival horror experiences in years. Hardcore survival on the Finland-Russia border. This one's not holding back. Road to Vostok is a realistic post-apocalyptic survival FPS where you're trapped between Finland and a deadly exclusion zone. You'll scavenge, fight, and survive against AI enemies in an unforgiving world where injuries, hunger, and weather can kill you. What makes it stand out? A permadeath zone. If you cross into the Vostok area, there's no saving. Die, and you lose everything. The rest of the game still punishes mistakes, but lets you save your progress. This isn't a game for casual players. No HUD, no tutorials, just you, a gun, and whatever gear you can scavenge. If you love hardcore survival games like Escape from Tarkov or DayZ, this could be one of the most intense experiences of 2025. Just be ready to risk everything. The machines have already won. Now, you just have to survive. Terminator Survivors is a survival game set in the aftermath of Judgment Day. Skynet controls the world, and you're not a hero. You're just a regular person trying to stay alive in a machine-dominated wasteland. Unlike most Terminator games that focus on action, this one leans into pure survival horror. Imagine scavenging in an abandoned city, only to hear the unmistakable thud of a T-800's footsteps in the distance. You'll gather resources, build shelters, and work with, or against, other survivors to stay alive. If they nail the AI, this could be one of the scariest survival games ever. The idea of being hunted by relentless machines is terrifying. Just hoping they balance the difficulty so it's tense but not impossible. The world outside is deadly, but staying underground might be even worse. Bunker Survival is a post-apocalyptic survival game where you and a group of survivors struggle to stay alive in an underground atomic shelter. Resources are scarce, tensions are high, and eventually you'll have to venture out into the wasteland to find what you need. Unlike most survival games that throw you into the open world immediately, Bunker Survival starts with managing life underground. You'll scavenge, craft, and fight to keep your bunker running. But when supplies run out, the real challenge begins. Exploring the surface is risky, but staying inside might be even deadlier. The mix of bunker management, survival, and external dangers makes this a unique take on the genre. If they balance resource scarcity and outside exploration well, this could be a solid survival experience. Stranded on a mysterious island where prehistoric creatures roam, and every adventure is unique. In Under a Rock, you play as a 19th century explorer who stumbles upon an uncharted, procedurally generated island filled with wildlife that shouldn't exist. Survival means crafting, building, and uncovering ancient secrets, all while fending off aggressive creatures and unexpected threats. What makes this game stand out? No two playthroughs are the same. Thanks to procedural generation, every island is different, offering endless exploration and discovery. Plus, the vibrant, stylized visuals give it a unique charm compared to the usual dark and gritty survival games. With co-op multiplayer, you don't have to face the dangers alone. Whether you're hunting for resources, building a base, or running from a giant crab, Under a Rock promises a survival experience that's both challenging and endlessly replayable. If the procedural world stays fresh and the survival mechanics are deep enough, this could be a hidden gem in the genre. Surviving on Arrakis? Yeah, good luck with that. Dune Awakening is an open-world survival MMO set in the unforgiving desert of Arrakis. You're not just battling thirst and hunger, you're dealing with deadly sandworms, brutal sandstorms, and rival factions all fighting for control of the most valuable resource in the universe, spice. This isn't just another survival game. It blends exploration, base building, and large-scale warfare with deep political intrigue. You'll need to gather resources, build shelters, and rise in power, whether through alliances, diplomacy, or brute force. The world is persistent and constantly changing, with dynamic weather and shifting sands that can reshape entire regions. The Dune universe has never had a survival MMO like this before, and if Funcom nails the balance between survival, combat, and strategy, this could be one of the most ambitious and immersive survival games ever. Just hoping they get the MMO aspects right, because Arrakis is already harsh enough without bad game mechanics. Zombies are bad. Winter zombies? That's a whole new nightmare. State of Decay 3 takes survival to the next level with a harsh winter environment, expanded base building, and deeper survival mechanics. This time, it's not just about fighting the undead. You'll have to battle the cold, manage resources, and keep your group from falling apart. One of the biggest threats? Infected wildlife. The trailer teased a zombified deer, hinting that animals won't just be food, they'll be predators. The AI-driven survivor system also promises more dynamic interactions, where your choices shape the fate of your community. Survivors can lose hope, turn on each other, or abandon you entirely. I've always liked State of Decay, but let's be honest, the combat and AI could be janky. If they fix those and push the survival elements even further, this could finally be the ultimate open-world zombie survival game. A massive, living fantasy world where adventure has no limits. From the creators of No Man's Sky, Light No Fire is an open-world survival adventure set on an Earth-sized fantasy planet. Every mountain, river, and biome is seamlessly explorable, blending survival, building, and RPG elements into a vast sandbox experience. Unlike most survival games focused on constant resource management, this one encourages exploration, discovery, and shaping your own journey. You can roam solo or build thriving settlements with others in a multiplayer world. If Hello Games delivers on their ambitious vision, this could redefine open-world gaming. But after No Man's Sky's rocky launch, expectations are cautious, yet hopeful. A post-apocalyptic survival game made by the minds behind RimWorld's biggest mod, this could be something special. This colony-building survival game puts you in charge of a group of survivors trying to rebuild in a hostile, post-apocalyptic world. It's all about deep strategy, managing people, constructing a base, and defending it against both human and non-human threats. Developed by ex-RimWorld modders, the creators of Combat Extended, the game expands on that experience with real-time with pause combat, detailed survival mechanics like farming and medicine, and a more hands-on approach to managing your colony. If you love RimWorld but wanted more direct control and tactical combat, this is one to watch. The depth looks incredible, but balancing complexity and accessibility will be key. If they get it right, this could be one of the most immersive colony survival games yet. Vin Diesel fighting dinosaurs in a next-gen survival game? What else do you need? Ark 2 is taking survival to the next level with a complete overhaul of its gameplay. This time, it's not just about taming dinosaurs, but surviving in a brutal world where prehistoric creatures and hostile human factions constantly clash. The combat has been completely reworked, moving toward a more Souls-like system with skill-based melee mechanics, dodging, and parrying. AI improvements promise a more dynamic world, with enemy tribes like the Aratai actively hunting players. Traversal is also getting a major upgrade, introducing mantling, climbing, and parkour to make exploring the wilds more immersive. And at the center of it all, a full-blown story mode starring Vin Diesel as Santiago, adding a cinematic touch to the survival experience. The original ARK was ambitious but notoriously buggy. If Studio Wildcard can deliver a polished experience this time, ARK 2 could be one of the biggest survival games ever. But if it launches like the first game, well, expect some prehistoric chaos. And that's it. 2025 is shaping up to be insane for survival game fans. Wastelands. Whether you want hardcore realism, epic sci-fi worlds, or just a chill survival adventure, there's something here for everyone. But now I gotta ask, which of these games are you most hyped for? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the best upcoming games. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay safe out there.